Aloha Mai Kako, a Komamaita Curtain Call, a weekly program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. Should you find yourself in New York before June 16th, be sure to catch the brilliant reimagining of Anton Chekhov's classic comedy, Uncle Vanya, directed by Lila Neugebauer, with a new translation by Heidi Schreck, produced at Lincoln Center's Vivian Beaumont Theater by Lincoln Center Theater. This Vanya has more laughs than any I have seen. The cast is uniformly excellent, and Ms. Schreck's new translation captures the unparalleled flavor of Chekhov while making the situations and characters relevant, and Ms. Neugebauer's direction makes this masterpiece one for the ages. At its essence, this play is about love in all of its superficial permutations: infatuation, puppy, and lust. Vanya, Steve Carell, in an auspicious Broadway debut, has inherited his family's estate. His brother-in-law, Alexander, the perfect Alfred Molina, has fallen on hard times at the university where he was a faculty member and has been forced to stay at Vanya's, much to Vanya's chagrin. Vanya's sister, Alexander's previous wife, has passed, and his new wife, Elena, Annika Noni Rose, is beautiful, sexy, bored, and boring. Vanya is infatuated with her. She lusts after Dr. Astroff, the magnetic Renaissance man William Jackson Harper. Sonia, Vanya's niece, the emotional cornucopia Allison Pill, thinks she is in love with Astroff, but Astroff is beguiled by Elena, and we learn shows up at the estate every day because of her. Alexander loves himself. Maria, Jane Hodeschel, Vanya's mother, likes her son-in-law more than her son, and Marina, Mia Kadigbak, the household help, loves everyone in the familial and platonic sense. The play takes place over a day. It begins outdoors when Vanya arises from his perpetual nap. He proceeds to extol the visual virtues of Elena while simultaneously condemning the bourgeois traits of his brother-in-law, whom he sees as a parasite. He and Dr. Astroff indulge in vodka and become inebriated. Later, Sonia convinces Astroff to stop drinking, and he promises to do so. Vanya gets caught in a deluge, one of the best effects I have ever seen in live theater. They spent the intermission squeegeeing the water into basins surreptitiously placed under the furniture for the second act. The second act takes place indoors. That evening, when Vanya leaves to fetch a bouquet for Elena, Astroff shows her his paintings, which depict the deforestation of the area over the years. He describes in great detail the images, but she is more concerned with other aspects of the doctor. She has promised Sonia she will ascertain whether he loves her or not. When Vanya returns, he witnesses them passionately acting out their mutual affection, since she has learned he just likes Sonia, but his feelings for her are decidedly more mature. Alexander imperiously summons the family to a meeting to discuss the future of the estate, and his ideas infuriate Vanya, who openly demonstrates his disdain, contempt, and detestation of his brother-in-law to the point of lethal violence. The denouement happens when the interlopers decide to return to the city. They are not country folk, and everything returns to as it was, but this time, Sonia convinces Vanya that he must work with her, and Astroff won't be back until next summer. At the conclusion of the show, the audience erupted into a sustained, well-deserved, explosive standing ovation for a superb evening in the theater. The cast is uniformly excellent, and everyone is doing their jobs to the best of their abilities, and it showed in their performances. Steve Carell in his Broadway debut is completely at home with the plethora of award-winning Broadway veterans in this cast. His Vanya is initially subdued, actually unconscious, and then he has raucous moments of inebriation with Astroff. He waxes poetic about Elena's intoxicatingly. He is bored into a stupor. His discovery moment of Elena's true feelings was earth-shaking in its silence, stupefaction, and astonishment at once. His puppy dog discussion with Elena about seeing she and Astroff passionately embracing was beautifully pitiful. Finally, his rage at Alexander is like a nuclear explosion. The critics and the Tony Award nominators have overlooked an exceptional debut by an actor who consistently turns in truthful, real performances that honor their creators. Allison Pill's Sonia plays as if she is an adolescent. Her moods swing like a hammock in a maelstrom. She has a moment when she is on her knees, face down, laughing uproariously, and she raises her head and says, "I'm so sad." When she reveals her feelings for Astroff to Elena, she is like a child unveiling her deepest secrets. When she obtains Astroff's pledge to stop drinking, it was an ecstatic, stunning moment. These are just a few of her wonderful moments. William Jackson Harper's Astroff has been nominated for a Tony for Best Male Lead in a Play. Okay, but why didn't Ms. Neugebauer get a Best Director nomination? Why didn't the play, with its brilliant new relevant translation, get a nomination for Best Revival of a Play? His Astroff was jovial, verbally committed to his practice, and passionate in his desire to protect the environment, we think. But the real reason is he is wishing to couple with Elena. He covers it up pretty well, until the second act when Vanya discovers them canoodling. Mr. Molina towers over the rest of the cast. His Alexander is unconsciously pompous. His phony, stuck-up delivery is perfect for this character, and it is a great choice. He looms over the play without being present. Such is the strength of his characterization. As Elena, Anika Noni Rose gives us an Elena who is eye candy, and she knows it. She is conflicted in her obligation to be loyal to her husband and her needs as a woman. Her best moment wasn't written by the playwright. When she asks Alexander if it is okay for her to play the piano, she opens it and sits waiting for his reply, which is no. She slowly closes it and gets up and begins to beautifully hum the opening of the great Nat King Cole hit, Nature Boy. It is such a telling moment. Look up the lyrics and you will understand what I am alluding to.
Mia Kadikbak
and Jane Hodeshell provide the humor in this production. Miss Kadikbak's Marina is down-to-earth and plain-spoken, loyal like a guard dog and just as affectionate. Ms. Hodeshell's Maria is unconscious as to the effect her open affection for her son-in-law has on her real son. It is both funny and pathetic. Taking a classic Russian play and stripping it of its time and place is a bold and delicate operation. There is no one better equipped for this task than Heidi Schreck. This apparently has been a lifelong wish, and she fulfilled it by being true to the playwright's intentions while imbuing her work in a contemporaneous immediacy, giving it the universality the playwright would delight in. Ms. Neugebauer's vision brings Chekhov to vibrant life for today's audience. Her ability to expose the humor, pathos, drama, and suspense of this classic breathes new life into the proceedings, and I predict Ms. Schreck's translation and Ms. Neugebauer's staging will become the paragon for future productions, just as Brother Iz's version of Over the Rainbow has upstaged the classic Judy Garland rendition. Mimi Lean's sets are minimal and serve Ms. Neugebauer's thrust staging perfectly. One effect I previously alluded to, the rainstorm toward the conclusion of Act 1, is deserving of another major kudo. It was so real, and when Sonia does her splashy celebratory dance in yellow slicker and rubber boots, it provides a delightful, memorable moment in the show. Bravo! The Times and the Tonys have gotten it so wrong, but this is a typical reaction when Hollywood television actors debut on Broadway. Mr. Carell joins an illustrious group including Bruce Willis, Julia Roberts, Madonna, Katie Holmes, Keira Knightley, Emilia Clarke, and Brendan Fraser, who was trashed so badly in his Broadway debut in Elling 2010, the play closed in 9 days. You can and should see for yourself should you be planning a trip to New York City before June 16th. The play runs Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., Wednesdays and Saturdays at 2 and 8 p.m., Fridays at 8 p.m., and Sundays at 3 p.m. The final matinee on the 16th is at 2 p.m. Go to www.lct.org for tickets and information. You don't want to miss this outstanding work. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Mahalo for joining me. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui strong. Ahui ho.